Okay, good afternoon, folks. Another round of coffee and questions. And this time I got a couple of emails over time where somebody has asked me, what do you make and sell online? And they're not quite getting it. I had a website for a while where I made a lot of different things, and I since just quit, got rid of it. The shipping was it's just horrible. I mean, once you include the shipping and some of the things that people want made, they either don't want to buy them or it drives the cost up so high. The sales started to taper off, and I decided I'm just not going to do it. So I carry a lot of photos with me, and I sell them to a lot of people that, flip through my phone, they find something that they like. What I end up selling online is just off of word of mouth, and I'm going to show you pictures, but it's all small stuff. It ships USPS flat rate, and it's a lot easier on me, and it's a lot more cost effective because then people don't shy away from buying them. But you have to stay with small stuff. That's just my opinion. If you have a way of figuring out a better shipping rate, or you're making something that's that nice and people are buying it, paying the shipping, I think it's great. For me, it just wasn't working like I thought. So for right now, I just create small items. Those are the things that I sell and I ship. So I'll change up the picture here and I'll go through some slides and I'll show you some of the things that I sell. Okay, we'll start the slideshow. I'm going to go through them a little bit quick, but I'll talk to you about each one. Now, I can make things that say welcome. Out of horseshoes, I can make them have your name on there, your horse's name. I did a whole bunch of these for a barn that's down in Thermal, and they have the horses' names, and so they put them on the stalls. And I've made some that said tack room, storage room, stuff like that for the same barns. So I sold quite a few of these. This one's on a stand. I don't do these and send them on a stand. I mean, if you want, I can do just the name, ship them to you, and I can ship you the pieces, and you can finish putting them together and paint them whatever color you want. And I'll show you in the slides coming up, different colors that you can use and different ways you can do it. A lot of times I let them rust and then I just shoot them with clear. But that's up to you. Let me change the slide and let me show you some other things that I can make, and it ships real easy in those flat rate boxes. So give me one sec. Okay, this is a bottle holder, and you can see it's on this little wood stand, and I made this for somebody, and you can see the horseshoe man right here where I've used this. It's like a glitter green. It was just an experimental thing. I ended up giving it away as a gift, but you can do these in different colored textured paints. It doesn't have to be just black, and it doesn't have to be just any one solid color. This I left alone. I wiped it with acetone. I shot it with this glitter stuff and then a couple of coats of primer. But I put him on a wood stump with a cut down tree in back. And and you finish these out just by some sanding and by using, I use Rust-Oleum gloss. But this is another one, and I'll go through some slides here quickly and show you some other variations. Okay, here's another variation of what I did. They're not hard to do. I can ship you the pieces and you can put them together yourself. Like I said, the board base you can get out at any Home Depot, Lowe's. Use a router, go around it. Don't use a router, leave it square. You can burn it. You can do a whole bunch of different things. Put a few coats of gloss over it. There's your base. And then you can turn around. You can see here where you can screw it right down onto the base and make your own wine bottle holder. Okay, here's another one, and I'll keep going. Now this is just a decorative piece here where you could put something on the base on the very front of it. It wasn't meant to hold a bottle. There's another, just a very simple one, and another. Here's one on a specialty little base. I think this was walnut. And here's another one where we took a piece of pine and we burned it with just one of those torches, and then we turned around and all I did is I coated it with several coats of Rust-Oleum, and I put everything together. Again, I can make the parts separate, ship them all separately. You can assemble it. That's another great way of doing it and keeping it, in that flat rate shipping. All right, moving forward, here we go. Okay, here's another one of him writing, and again, it's just simple pine wood with a very light stain. You can do this out at any Home Depot. They sell the stain, they sell the clear gloss, they sell the wood, they sell everything that you need. You can just put it together really easily yourself. So I'll just flip through these real quick to give you an idea of all the different variations that you can do when you get them. Okay, another easy thing to sell are these hangers. You can make short stubs of railroad spikes on horseshoes. They're good for hanging like coats and stuff like that on in your garage or in back of a door. And I finish them the same way. Sometimes with textured spray paint, sometimes they're just black, sometimes I leave them alone. I let them rust some, but then I clear coat them so that way this rust stuff doesn't get off on your clothes or anything like that. These are real easy to make, real easy to ship. Again, the holes are drilled. I also chamfer or countersink them a little bit so that the screws run flush. Let me change it up. I'll show you some more pictures of these. Same thing here, just showing them to you on a white background. Okay, now here they are where somebody had taken a piece of wood and actually did this little bit of routering, and then they put the horseshoes on there. But again, this is your own design on how you want to do things. It's just giving you examples and ideas of what you can do, on your own at home, or if you got the stuff from me and you can put it together, you can make your own coat rack board and then just go ahead and zap it up wherever you want it. Okay, here's a couple more where again, all we did was took that pine wood, and in the upper one, we just added some color to it, some yellow dye, over some red. And this is the color that it produced. And then we shot it with, just that Rust-Oleum. But you'll notice the horseshoes are done with a textured spray here. And the one on the bottom, it's not. They were left to rust a bit. I threw them in water, threw them out, let them rust out quite a bit. Then I shot them with clear. The holes were drilled, countersunk. We put them on this piece of like distressed wood. And all we did with this is with a 4.5-inch angle grinder and a sanding disc on it. I think it was like 60 grit or something. We went around, hit the edges, and roughed everything up. Then we sanded the surface real smooth. We put a couple of coats of stain on there, and we finished it out, and it makes it look rustic. Okay, now here's a couple of pictures. The one up on top. Now this is a much bigger, longer coat rack. So we took a piece of wood, we stained it, clear gloss, we put the horseshoes on there. Now the one on the bottom is a little short one, and you can see where these were rusted real bad, and then we clear coated them. The ones on top were shot with a textured paint. So it's your choice here, but these gives you more examples and more ideas, I hope. Okay, here I zoomed in as much as I could. Now you can see how you can make these things really rust out before you clear coat them and you put them on wood. You can space them, do whatever you want on the wood, but this just gives you a super close-up of the possibilities of things that you can do with them by letting them just rust naturally in clear coating. Okay, here's 3 more variations, and these are just mounted on short pieces of exotic wood. There's a place here in town where they let me just have the cutoffs. I sort through the pile. I find some of these little short pieces. I bring them home. I router the edge. You don't have to. And then, I just put clear gloss on them. The one picture in the middle didn't come out quite right. These things actually look beautiful with these exotic woods, these Brazilian mahogany and these redwoods and all these different things. So you can always root around, or you can use stains and dyes. But either way, you can put them on these plaques. And this shows you all 3 of these have a textured finish on them if you look close. And you can buy textured paint, Lowe's, Home Depot, your supply store. But I always, after they dry in a few hours, I go over them with a couple coats of clear gloss. Makes them look good, and it seals everything in good. Okay, here's another example of another long one. It's been used with black textured paint. It's on pine. The pine's been stained. Again, very easy to do. Okay, now this is another favorite of things that I sell quite a few of, actually. These are railroad ties, and you take another one, you cut little stubs, and you weld them on there. I grind them down and make everything look nice, and then I tap holes in the bottoms of them, and I put bolts in there, and you can use them for drawer pulls. And when I order them, people sometimes want the spike facing outward, sometimes that flathead facing inward, sometimes to the right, sometimes to the left. It's their preference, but I sell them complete, including the bolts. So this is a nice, easy thing to ship also, and it sells well. Okay, shelf brackets. They're another easy thing to make. The ones on the upper left are just stubbed out. Now you'd have to cut the notches around the heads of the railroad ties to put shelving, depending on the width of the lumber you get out at Home Depot or Lowe's. The one in the middle here, you can make it as long as you want coming out, and then you can bend that lip up, and it holds, if you want, that shelf in place. Now, you see underneath here where I've drilled the holes, and I also countersink them so that they run flush with the wood when you put the screws up through them. These are easy to make. I've got a video on how you make all this stuff. The favorite one that I make is the one over here on the far right. This is what I sell the most of. Now, instead of using like bolts like he did here, I don't. I weld on the right and the left, the top and the bottom of that bent railroad tie. My holes are pre-drilled. Everything's there. It's countersunk. You just use drywall screws or whatever you want, and you zap it in. You put whatever you want on top. Now, all I need to know when I make them is how wide you want them, because that'll tell me how long that piece is on the top that you're going to have to set the wood on. But outside of that, I mean, I make them pretty standard. People like them. They put them in their garages. They put them all over the place. Okay, and here's examples of toilet paper tissue holders and paper towel holders that I make. And I've got videos, like I said, posted in here on how you can do these yourself, or you can buy the parts from me, either way. Okay, and here's an example of those little knobs that we make out of railroad ties, and you can see the different ways they can be finished and the way that they can be done. Okay, and here's 3 examples of door knockers that I've made. I mean, and it's the same thing. You can ship them in pieces or however you want. I just need to know how you want them. So these are kind of cool. They're kind of handy and rustic looking. Here's a moose head hanger. You can actually use it in your shop to hang cords and different things from by just zapping it up into the wall or welding it to the side of your welding cart. So it's kind of decorative. It's kind of neat for hanging cords or your lines from your welders. Okay, so the question part of things. Okay, first of all, what do I sell the most of? On the upper left, you're going to see I sell a lot of horseshoes, and on the right, you see I can sell a lot of these bent railroad ties that are pre-drilled with the holes countersunk. I sell them pretty much in the raw form, I mean, where I've cleaned them up, wiped them down with acetone. The railroad ties, I mean, and they're shipped that way. The horseshoes, well, I cut the nails off of them, and then they're just shipped in quantities. So you'll have to contact me if there's anything that you want me to make for you. And like I said, I make them in different stages. I mean, I mostly just sell you the raw material parts, and then you go ahead and you put things together yourself. And then the next question is, well, how do you contact me? I'll show you right now. Give me just a second. Okay, so questions. How do you get a hold of me? Put in the subject line, reference the video, or put, horseshoes wanting to buy, or I don't know, something that stands out to me, because I have a spam filter. So I'd use all caps, put something in the subject line that stands out, or drop me a comment letting me know you emailed me one way or another if you're interested. This is the email. Now, what do I sell the most of? Horseshoes and bent railroad spikes, because most people don't have a way to bend them. So I bend them, pre-drill them, and like I said, the holes and stuff. So this is what I sell the most of, and it ships flat rate. That's what makes it a lot easier, and it's cheaper on both you and I and whoever's buying them. But these are really handy for a multitude of projects at home. You can also buy the spikes and the horseshoes off of the web in different places, but I sell them cheaper a lot of times than you're going to find on eBay and some of these other places. But it's up to you, and it's up to whether or not you have a need for this stuff. Okay, any other questions? Do I make a lot of money? No, I don't make a lot of money doing this, but it gives me a little bit of money from the stuff that I sell, where I can go buy more steel, do more projects, I do more videos, or I buy gas, or I buy MIG wire, or whatever I need. I do make a little bit, but no, this isn't anything like, running a business or anything. It's just a hobby. And I happen to make a little bit of money that fuels that hobby. What about the wine bottle holders? I was selling those when I had my website, but the shipping started to kill me, because you can't put these when they're totally done with the bases and everything in just these flat ship rate boxes. So I just quit doing them, and like I said, it hit so much of the income, I just folded up the website, and I thought it's not really worth it. It's too much hassle because you got to maintain everything. So I just quit doing it. I mean, if other people do it, I think it's great. I know there's people on Etsy and all this other stuff. So it just wasn't working, for me. So it's a lot easier for me to sell the individualized pieces, or I do some of the work for you and it all fits into a flat rate box. I ship it to you and you finish it out. You got it cheaper. Everybody's happy. And like I said, the shipping was killing me. What's been my best form of marketing and advertising? Well, like I said, this is a hobby. The best thing for me, I keep tons of photos on my telephone, and that has been my best way of advertising. I'm at work or something. I start showing them to friends and stuff. They say, hey, send me the picture. Send me that picture. Hey, can I look through them? Stuff like this. Hey, can you do this, but can you change this to this? Or can you add this? And I tell them, yeah, sure. So kind of like word of mouth, and just me, having these pictures on my phone has been my best advertisement, and that's my marketing scheme. Now, YouTube helps out a lot, because I refer them back to YouTube. They go look at a lot of the videos that I've done in the projects. They're interested in something. They contact me. I make the hooks, or I make the hangers and stuff. I ship them to them, and, they've got a welder, and they go ahead and they make their carts or their tables, and they finish them out. So, YouTube helps too, but no, I'm not on any of these other social platforms right now. Okay, I think that's about it. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. If you have any questions, just email them to me or drop them in the comment below. I'm the Home Handyman. I hope you folks enjoyed the video, and it gives you an idea of maybe something you can do as a little bit of a side business and make money. or like I said, you can contact me for some of the things that you can't do. I'll update the video later on because somebody asked me, hey, can you show us all the metal bending things and would you make them? And the answer is yes, but they're all back in these videos and I'd have to go collect the pictures, but I'll do it when I can. You folks have a good day. Don't forget to click subscribe and give me a thumbs up. Thank you very much. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.